Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 22. So last episode we had the offseason and we targeted a lot of defensemen at the draft to try and round out our defensive core and make us a little bit better of a team. And we had a pretty successful draft for the most part. We brought in a very good defenseman and a medium elite in Mr. Artem Teratukin, who's going to be leading our defensive core. He actually has some pretty good chemistry with Ty Dubnyk, so I'm excited about that pairing a lot. We also did bring in Jan Ozelinch, who should help out that top six a bit. He has medium top four potential as well, so hopefully he could get some good development. We also did bring in a good goaltending prospect in Braden Joseph, who's a 74 overall fringe starter. So he's going to be our starting goaltender this year, and then Janssen as our backup. So we actually have an okay goaltending tandem. It's kind of like an AHL goalie tandem. Obviously, that still needs to improve, so hopefully we can continue to get some good development from the goalies we have. We do have two in the minors as well that we could always call up if we need to. And then those are our scratch players. And then we also have our forward core, which is getting some pretty good growth, especially that top line. I'm really excited about that top line. It's a legitimate NHL top line. And then you get into the rest of our lineup. It's actually not too bad either. It's kind of like an AHL lineup. So hopefully that line gets those lines get some points as well and get some good development, because we are definitely on track to being a playoff team at some point in this franchise mode, I think, if we continue to draft the way we're drafting. Now, before we get into the season simulation for year number 4, I think it is already, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from HawksFan88. He says 8:54, so he put a timestamp. Nobody mentioned that Jason Pominville is making a return to the NHL. So there was a prospect that got drafted at the last draft we just had named Jason Pominville. His spelling was a bit different. I don't know where he went in the draft, so we will just look him up for fun, kind of see where he went. But it's kind of funny that there was a guy with the name Jason Pominville, just he had a Y in his first name instead of the regular spelling. As you can see, he went to the Carolina Hurricanes. He was a low top 6, but still kind of an interesting one there. I didn't even realize that because I guess I didn't have him pinned, and I don't think he was going around our spots anyways, so, but that is that. The next comment is from Mike Garbrandt. He says, can you check out second round Arcobello stats and where he went to? Just curious, you had him pinned. Feel like the team definitely needs a second line center. So yeah, I definitely agree. We definitely could use a second line center. So we'll take a look at that first before we look where that Arcobello guy went. Yeah, center depth is definitely something we need. Pete Pasquale being up there is not good enough for sure. He does have some good offensive stats, but he definitely isn't good enough to be a second liner at all. So if we could find a second liner at some point, that would be great for that second line center spot. And then also Pasquale he has good face-off stats, so he might be a good fourth liner, but really he shouldn't be in the top 6 at all. Like, I would rather go with one of these guys, but the chemistry isn't there. Like, it gives a negative for some of it. Like, we could always move up Malhotra if we want to, so I might make that change throughout the season depending on how it sims out. But yeah, that's that. And then he also said to take a look at Arcobello, who I had pinned. So I guess I forgot about Arcobello because I think Arcobello was one of the guys I wanted to draft, and I honestly forgot about who he was and forgot I even had him pinned. So hopefully he isn't too good of a player. So we'll definitely take a look at where he went. Hopefully we didn't miss out on a good player, and he is a medium top 6 forward prospect that the Penguins got, 65 overall, 18 years of age. And he went in the second round, so that would have been a really good pick, but unfortunately we don't get it. 65 overall is not terrible, and 18, and he's been a sniper. He's got some good stats all around. That would have been a nice pick, but I can't remember what we took in the second round, but he might have been a better option if we would have taken him instead. And obviously he's also a center, which is something we need too. And then the next and final 2 comments are from Alien Pete. He says, next draft need to target a center and more D-men. Need to draft a good mix of forwards and defensemen. Hopefully get some more development from our drafted prospects as the team improves. Overalls are still quite low, which I agree with. Again, like, we definitely need a center. We definitely could use more defensemen because we always just want to find the best chemistry possible. But yeah, we definitely could use some better forwards, especially replacing guys like Pasquale, Zubov, Sim, and Seaback. Those guys aren't even really good AHLers. The 70 overall ones I think I'm okay with for now. But we definitely could use some more depth for sure at all positions, not necessarily goaltending wise because we already got 4 of them, but we could always get more if we want to. Also, Alien Pizzas, I think those RFAs that signed for 3 mils because their previous contract was given an automatic bump to get you to the cap floor, so the qualifying offer would have been 110% of the previous contract, hence why it was 3 mil, which makes a lot of sense. So hopefully those guys come down a lot in asking price this upcoming offseason, because if we look at all expiring, for example, we do got Jaskalainen who needs a contract this year, which he wants a lot of money right now. He's probably going to want even more so in the offseason. But guys, for example, like Goldobin, he's getting paid $3 million, so I don't know how much he's going to be asking for when it comes to the actual offseason. And yeah, so we're going to be spending probably a decent amount of money on at least Jaskalainen, and Karostin might get a decent amount of money, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, see, right now he wants 5.4, but we're not going to be paying him 5.4. So hopefully those asking prices come down a tad, because it's going to be kind of ridiculous to pay like a 76 overall $5 million, because he's not going to get that anywhere else in the league. But anyways, those were the comments that we got. So let's get into simulating and see how this team performs. Hopefully with the chemistry and the new additions on the defensive end and the new goaltender, we could maybe do a lot better than last season. Last season was our best season yet, so hopefully we could build upon that 12-win season and maybe go for like 15 wins or 20 wins this season. That'd be pretty nice. But I don't really know if it will happen, but maybe it will, since we made a defensive upgrade, and maybe we'll be better at keeping the puck out of our net. Because like last year, that was our main problem, really, because we were scoring a lot of goals, actually, by comparison to previous years. So, in our preseason, we're going to go 4-3, so we actually had a winning preseason, which hasn't happened, I don't think, yet, so that's pretty nice. Gene Thornton leading the way with 9 points in 7 games. He's going to also need a contract next year, which is going to be very expensive. Yeah, so we're going to have to definitely sign those top guns to like 8-year deals, and then we're going to have to try and fill out our roster with kind of other good guys that are on kind of cheaper contracts, so hopefully we can do that. But yeah, let's get the season done with and simulate it all the way through, see how we do with this year. I'm going to guess that we're going to at least hit 15 wins this season, because our defense is getting an upgrade, and we also have a better goaltending tandem than previous years. So let's see if we can hit 15 wins, because that is the goal I have. Let me know your guys' predictions as well down below, because that's always fun to see what you guys predict. Okay, so we won the first game of the season, but we lose a lot since, but we beat Colorado, which is nice. So we do already have 2 wins on the year, which is okay. But we're kind of playing like we did last year, I guess, to an extent. There's another win, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Okay, 4 in a row, and it loses. So there's our longest winning streak in franchise history, probably. Winning 4 games straight. So it'll be a good year for rookies. That's always good to see, because we definitely need some more good prospects in. But that was our longest winning streak in franchise history. That's good to see that we got one. There's another winning streak happening, 3 in a row. You'll love to see it when we win multiple games in a row. So far, a pretty good month here for the most part in terms of getting points. We don't have a terrible record, really. Like, it's a bad record, obviously, but we almost have more wins than last season already. There we go, 14 wins on the year at January already. Yeah, we're definitely going to crack 15 wins unless we go winless down the stretch. But, yeah, we're simulating a lot better than I thought. We might not even finish bottom of the league. Well, we probably will still, but we might not be that far off not being bottom of the league, unless we just lose a bunch of games, which we're currently doing. But it's good to see when we do win games that we win like 2 in a row at least. Shows a little bit of consistency within our young lineup. Okay, there's a win over Montreal, lost to Detroit. There's a win over San Jose. Let's just keep current trading block, and we'll go continue simulating because we don't care about the deadline. And don't care, I'm not claiming anybody on waivers because I don't do that shit, especially in a draft of glory. Come on, boys. There's 21 wins. We might end up hitting 30 wins. No, I don't think we're going to hit 30 wins. But we're going to hit like maybe around 25, which would be pretty good. A lot better than I expected. Yep, we hit 25 wins this season. That's pretty impressive. We are making some good strides. Can we hit 27 or 28? Nope. and we're going to lose every game down the stretch, but we finished 25, 49, and 8, so once again, we have improved upon our previous season, so that's actually a pretty good year for a team that's like this bad technically. We finished with 58 points, which is only 10 worse, actually 1 point worse than the Flyers right now. Wow, I didn't expect that. So we almost did not finish worst in the entire league. Though almost the worst team in the entire league was the Flyers, but we almost passed the Flyers. Damn. That would have been nice if we wouldn't have finished dead last, but that's pretty cool. Let's advance today just to get all the season done with. There you go. That should be good. Now let's take a look at our team stats and player stats for the season. See who did what and what needs to be improved upon, and then we'll sim up to the draft lottery results and all that stuff, the awards, wrap up this season. So let's take a look at the entire league. So Dallas finished first. We finished dead last by only 3 points, and we were actually kind of close to Arizona as well. So we had the same amount of regulation wins though as Philadelphia. So very impressed with the season from this like young group and this overall group in a general sense. We actually also scored more goals than the Philadelphia Flyers this season. Yeah, we weren't the worst defensive or offensive team in the NHL anymore. We passed the Rangers, the Sens, the New Jersey Devils, Seattle, and Arizona, and Philadelphia. So very impressed with our offense. It's our goals against that's still holding us back a bit. 3.98, but once again, I think that improved by quite a large margin because I believe last year was like 4.9 something. I could be wrong with that, but I think we improved upon that a lot as well. And yeah, we were the worst defensive team in the NHL, but we're making some good headway and improving in each area as well, which is something you love to see. Power play percentage was actually not terrible, it looks like. Yeah, our power play was not too bad. It was actually, I would say, top 15 in the league, 17.4%. So nice to see that our power play is clicking. And in our penalty kill, 83 point something, which is also not that bad. So our special teams are pretty good this year. Yeah, 83.7% around mid-table as well. So maybe our special teams kind of carried us into a better status than we actually were. I don't know. Short-handed goals, we had 3 short-handed goals, which is one of the fewest in the league. Home record, what did we finish in terms of home record? We finished 14, 23, and 4, which was not the worst home record in the NHL, but we did have the worst away record, and we're 2 and 8 in our last 10 games. So I'd still say a successful season to build upon last year for sure in terms of pretty much everything, and getting also 13 more wins than last year, so we doubled our wins. Like, if we get enough growth and stuff like that, we could hit 30 wins or something by next season, which would have us getting closer to the playoffs, which would be nice. And Jaskalainen apparently is up to a 90 overall as well, so we're going to definitely have to take a look at the progress reports. But let's take a look at our player stats and see who did what for us this year. So, Raimo Jaskalainen, 82 points in 82 games, a minus 34 only, which is not too bad. Improving upon last year as well. He's been fantastic so far. He's definitely going to have to get a big contract this year in the offseason. We're going to have to give him like an 8-year deal. We'll do the 85% trick as well, probably like what we did with Morales. But it seems like the power play unit has not been a problem for us for the last few years. As you can see, he's had like 20 plus points on the playoffs in the power play. So not too bad from Jaskalainen. Then Pasquale, 38 points. That's not too bad for his first season, or second season, my bad. Improved upon last year in terms of points and also played better defensively. Shooting percentage was around the same. Not too bad. Gotta like that. Also, how was his face-off winning percentage? It was above 50%, so not too bad. He's winning draws. I like that. Then we got Boris Zubov in his fourth season or third season? Second season. Only 11 points, so this guy's not really much of an offensive player, but his defensive stats aren't terrible in terms of plus-minus. But obviously, he'd be one of those type of guys we'd be looking to replace at some point, because I don't know if he's going to get really much development being a low top 9 in 68 overall. But he was a 5th rounder, so. Then we go into the left wingers. Gene Thornton, 74 points in his second season, hitting 41 goals, which is pretty impressive for the team he's on. Just improving upon last year, his plus-minus got improved a lot. His shooting percentage is ridiculous as well. So this guy is definitely what we needed in terms of a goal scorer to help out our team offensively. So he's going to definitely also have to get locked up long term for sure. Like in that. Kyler Morales, 72 points, pretty good, minus 31. The exact same pretty much stats as last year, less goals though, and more assists. Also shot the puck a lot more, which is interesting. Not too bad. And we also got George Forster, 40 points. Not too bad as well. He's up to a 78 overall, which is very nice to see because that's actually like a legitimate fourth liner. Nice. He's also going to probably want a big contract, but he's a really good fit for the fourth line. So if he doesn't really grow much more than the 78 because he's a grinder, that wouldn't be too bad either. Then Todd Malhotra, 29 points. That's not too bad. 71 overall. Cole Sim, 11 points, still 66, so he's another one of those guys we'd probably look to replace. Right wing wise, Dmitry Korostin, 52 points, 28 goals this year for a 76 overall. That's pretty impressive. Like, even though he's only a 76, he definitely seems to be able to put up points, which is great for our offense. Could be because he's on the power play, though. And then also Dave Lannon, 34 points. That's pretty solid, up to a 73. He might end up being a legitimate bottom six at some point. Vladimir Goldobin, 27 points, not too bad, but he might be somebody that we look to replace because he is only a 72 at 22. But he has top 9 potential, so you never know. And then Seaback in his first season, only 6 points, but pretty good defensive stats, I'd say, for plus-minus wise. But he's also one of these guys that I don't really know if he'll develop. Then we go to defense. Artem Taratukin in his first season, 41 points and a minus 33. So not too bad from the top pairing defenseman in his first season. Looks like he's going to be a good player for our power play and all that stuff, so I like that. He also had an okay preseason, I guess. So that's not too bad. He's up to an 84 as well, so he's getting some really good development. We're legitimately going to have actually a pretty good power play unit in terms of overalls at some point. Then Ty Dubnyk, 29 points. That's pretty good, actually, for a 70 overall 7th defenseman. He is a two-way D, so it kind of makes sense. Also, only a minus 27 is pretty good, but then again, he played on the top pairing. Christopoulos is still probably the defenseman we need to replace for sure, because he's a minus 52 this season. Like, he's always a bad minus. So we might have to replace him with one of the guys in the AHL, because we do have some defensemen in the minors we'll take a look at as well. And then Mikonov, 15 points and a minus 51. I really don't know if this guy's going to pan out, which kind of sucks because he was a second rounder. Turris, 12 points and a minus 32. Not too bad. And then Ozolinch in his first season, 10 points and a minus 21. Not too bad there. His shooting percentage was actually pretty good as well for a defenseman, 12.8%. Not too bad from the defensive end in terms of offense. And then goaltending wise, in his first season, Braden Joseph hit 15 wins, which I believe is a franchise record, 15, 30, and 7. One shutout, an 890 save percentage, and 396. So his stats aren't too great, but he was definitely outplayed by Sven Johnson to an extent. Not necessarily win-wise, but goals against-wise and save percentage-wise. So that's not too bad. Let's take a quick look at the AHL, because there is actually some players we want to take a look at before we take a look at the NHL stats. Because we do have, who was it? Yeah, it was this Whitaker that we drafted. He's up to a 57. He is good offensively, it seems like, in the minors. So I don't know if he'll get a chance next year or what. And then we also have McIver, still 58, but still seems to be somewhat okay. And goalie-wise, Soderstrom had an okay season despite only getting 4 wins. He's a 63. Kahn's a 65. Kahn really struggled. 50 losses for Kahn, actually. Yikes. So that's a little look at the AHL. Let's take a quick look at the entire league for points and all that stuff, just because I'm kind of curious on who was up there. So the best point getter was Pasternak with 110. Most goals this year was McDavid with 51. But Gene Thornton was top 10 in scoring this year, which is really nice to see. Maybe one day he'll win us a Richard, which would be pretty dope for a draft glory. Then we look at defensemen for points. Barry had 72 points, which is pretty good. Best goaltender this year, Stuart Skinner with 44 wins, followed by Vasilevsky with 43. Best rookie this year was Isaiah Tutu in Nashville with 54 points. But if we look up here, Taratukin was up there as the best defenseman in terms of rookies in points. Not too bad. Pretty good year for the most part, I would say. So now that that is done, let's simulate to the awards and all that stuff, and also find out where we're drafting, and then we'll take a look at like the draft class and the progress reports and the contract situation, and then that'll be it for this episode. So who is going to win the Stanley Cup this year? Tampa Bay's won 2 times already, I'm pretty sure, so wouldn't be surprised if they won another. The Stanley Cup champions are going to be... Dun dun dun. It's going to be the Colorado Avalanche. Not a surprise. Colorado's a stacked team, and Cleveland will win the Calder Cup. Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at those individual awards, see who won an award for us, because we more than likely got that same award we've been always winning because we're a bad team. But Colorado wins the Stanley Cup. Dallas won the Presidents, and it was the Colorado-Tampa Stanley Cup Finals. So Tampa Bay has been to literally 3 Cup Finals in 4 years in this franchise mode. But adding real life, obviously they've been to like 5 or something Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, 5 Stanley Cup Finals in like the last 7 years, which is ridiculous. Individual awards wise, Pasternak wins the Art Ross and the Hart. Barry wins the Norris. Pasternak the Bing. Tutu won the Calder for Nashville. Jost wins the Conn Smythe for Colorado, which is kind of interesting. Vasilevsky wins the Vezina. Stuart Skinner the Jennings. Ribeiro wins the Masterton, so never mind, we didn't win the Masterton this year. It goes to a San Jose Shark. Bulleries wins it for San Jose. Barkov the Selke. Pasternak the Lindsay. And McDavid the Richard. Interesting. Let's take a look at the playoff tree quickly, just so I want to see what this was set up like. Interesting. Okay. So that is that. Now we got to find out where we are drafting. Hopefully we can win the draft lottery this year, since we didn't finish... well, we did finish the bottom of the league, but technically... I don't know. I feel like our team has a better chance of winning the first overall pick this year because of the fact that we actually had an okay season. But let's see. Where are we going to be drafting this year? It's going to be number 1. Let's go. Finally, it's about time we get first overall in the draft. More than likely, after recording this episode, I have a feeling this game is just going to lead this franchise mode just because of the fact that we got first overall, because that's what it did last time. So hopefully that is not the case. Philadelphia will be at number 2, Arizona at 3, Seattle at 4, and Florida moves from 15 to number 5. Interesting. So we finally have the first overall pick, which means we're going to be getting a good player in for our team again. But we are getting kind of close to where we're having way too much elite players that we might end up bringing into some cap problems down the stretch of this franchise mode, which is kind of scary. But yeah, these are retirements, not that this really matters. Best goalie to retire this year, Sergei Bobrovsky, and that is it. Okay, let's see. So Yandel, Suter, Giordano, and Brown are now coaches. Interesting. Did we lose any coaches to our team? No, we did not. I don't think. Yeah, which is good. Continue simulating. And let's take a look at that draft class, and then we'll take a look at our progress reports and the contracts. And then that will be it for this episode. So, since we have the first overall pick, we have a lot of different options now. We obviously probably would go with the best player available, which would probably be Sam Seidu, who's a power forward, and he's a left winger, so another guy that could score a lot of goals probably for us. But there is also an argument for taking Victor Dominguez, who has the exact same stats, but he's not a gem as Sam Seidu. But he is scouted and ranked higher, so I don't really know who we would take. Both these guys are the exact same type of players. They play the same positions. They are both the exact same player types. Just one's a little bit younger than the other, and the other one's a gem. So very tough to decide between the two of those. But if we wanted to add more centers, because we do need more centers, we could go with Abel Goodbranson instead. Let the AI take the other players. He'd be a really good center to have behind Jääskeläinen, but obviously he'd be asking for a lot eventually down the road. There's also another left winger that's a two-way forward potentially in DeMaio. And then there's also another center in Dubinsky. So this is a very deep draft in terms of overall rating, looks like. Yeah, this is going to be a really good draft, I think. So yeah, that's what we would probably have a choice between in the first round. Like, there's literally 3 gems in the top 5, which is something you don't really see that often. Okay, let's take a look at some later rounds to see if there is any lowly potential players we could pin for like the second or third round or later even. Not sure on Viking stat, but I'll pin him because why not? Let's pin you too. Connor Green doesn't look great. Yeah, maybe the later rounds of this draft aren't great, but definitely the first round is going to be a good one. Oh, this guy looks decent. Yeah, this guy looks good. If his stats are actually accurate, his skating looks pretty good. Yeah, this guy might actually be a low lead, and if that is the case, that guy is definitely a pick that we would need to take. Gives us some more offensive need, but he could be only like a low top 9 too, which is not what we really need. Goaltending wise for the draft, let's just sort this by scouting rank. And it's nothing really special for goaltenders, so we probably won't draft really any goalies. We'll probably just go for forwards and defensemen, like we were getting mentioned to by Alien Pete. So, but yeah, that's anyways the draft class. Let's take a quick look at the progress report, see if anybody's getting some good development. So modified wise, so Corrosion jumped up to a 78, which is really great to see. Pasquale up to a 71. The Corrosion stuff is statistical growth mainly, which is kind of sucks. Teratugan's getting natural growth. Mostly everybody's getting natural growth, but yeah, this team is actually growing a lot faster than I expected. A lot of it's statistical based, which kind of sucks, because obviously then they'll just drop right back down. But hopefully that isn't the case. McIver is apparently getting a lot of growth. He's up to a 58. Kahn's up to a 66. Soderstrom is 63 still. So he's taking a little bit long to develop, but he might end up being like a NHL goalie at some point. And then Whitaker also went up by 6. Interesting. So that is that. Let's take a quick look at the contract situation just to see whose contracts are up this offseason. So if we go to all expiring, as you can see, Jääskeläinen's the big one. We'd give him like an 8-year deal. He only wants 11.25 right now, which if I did the 85% trick rule, I could probably get him down to like 9.5 or something, which I think is a good steal. So we'll definitely sign Jääskeläinen into like an 8-year deal next episode. But for right now, Corrosion, because of how his seasons have been, he wants like $6 million, which is a lot of money obviously to throw at somebody like that. But he does have top 6 potentials, so we'll see about what we give him in next episode. We'll probably just qualify him again and see if his price comes down a bit. And then Todd Malhotra as well wants like $2 million. He's definitely not going to get that unless the AI automatically gives him that, which they probably will. But all these guys are wanting like one-way deals pretty much. It looks like Sim probably... Sim wants a one-way deal as well, even though he's not been playing. I don't know, he has been playing. It's Holloway that hasn't. Holloway wants a two-way deal, so that's okay. But yeah, those are basically the contracts that are up. And then goalie-wise, we still got to run with Janssen and Kahn's contracts. Janssen wants less money than he was getting paid before. And Kahn is going to want a two-way deal, which is fine with me as well. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory. So in next episode, we will have the entire offseason again as we look to continue building up this team, because I think we are definitely trending in the right direction. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.